Well, those were the scenes we could see in the French dressing room just moments before kick-off, and this is the French team. Jerry.
Well, the French team are coming here to do a job. They've got a game plan. It starts with this front row, and this front row together have not lost a game in the Six Nations Championship. Very impressive. They'll be hoping for the same. The dump trucks in the second row, Nale and Pierre, good ball carriers, be looking to get a good job done in the line-out. A lot of French hope pinned on that man, Chabal, number 8. If he doesn't get across the gain line, I think France will be sent packing home. The half-backs, Shashvili comes in for Para, a bit unfortunate for Para, but he can do a good job. He's a great kicker and a good general there, playing at the back of the scrum. Josian and Rouget, a couple of huge lumps, going to knock some holes in that English midfield, or at least attempt to. But I'm sure England will have an answer. A very dangerous back three with Pochettino coming in for the late injured Medard. Very dangerous. Can score tries from anywhere, that French back.
Jerry, we haven't really dwelt on Chris Ashton because all the pre-publicity about this game has been almost exclusively about him. What is it about him that is making him the subject of so many headlines?
We'll just see here, look how he anticipates the movement, and if England were to break through that gain line, he would have been there to receive a pass and get behind and support. Now this is his last try against Italy. Look how far this guy runs in support. So it's not luck by any stretch of the imagination. This guy works extremely hard to be in the right place at the right time. He's tracking ball, anticipates Banahan being where he is to receive that pass and then run and score the try. So all in all, that Ashton has ran 90 metres to get the ball and another 36 to score the try. Fantastic. You see the snail trail there. That's a phenomenal work rate.
Well, we have Lewis Moody with us, the injured England captain, as we have over the course of this Six Nations Championship, and he's with Sonia on the touchline.
Well, I imagine that Lewis Moody would much rather be playing today, but what's the sense of disappointment that knee didn't quite hold up?
Huge amount of disappointment. You know, you set yourself a target as a player, and when you miss it, it's very frustrating. But, you know, the medics, the physios, and everyone did all they possibly could to get me fit for the game, and unfortunately just aggravated it a bit in the 20 minutes that I played, so we have to not go back to square one, but figure out where we're at now.
As designated captain of England, you've been with the squad this week. They're favourites for this game, narrowly. How do you think they'll cope with that tag?
I don't think the boys worry too much about, you know, who's favourite and who's not. We know that we're playing good rugby at the minute. They're rightly confident, and they're probably a bit anxious. No, anxious is wrong. Probably, you know, they're anticipating this game because they realise that the quality of the opposition, the occasion, you know, it's a big game today, and they realise that. So, you know, I think they're probably just as excited as I am to get out there on the pitch, although I'll be watching. Absolutely.
We're just waiting for the French team. John, there are dozens and dozens of cameras currently trained, not on the French team actually, on the Royal Box, waiting for a glimpse of Prince Harry.
And you can see in the background there is Zara Phillips and Harry. Surely William and Kate could have managed to be here today. They've been in Wales, in Anglesey, they've been in Scotland. Why couldn't they be in England today? You actually saw a guard of honour there being lined up for the two teams as they come out on the pitch, being formed by sailors from HMS Westminster, who are here after a tour of duty overseas. And we're waiting for the French to come. Lawrence, before the Italy game, everybody was saying if England really go for it from the first whistle, no sparring, no just sort of seeing how the lie of the land is, and then decided to take the initiative. If England go for it for the word go, they will rip Italy apart, and that's exactly what happened. If England adopted similar tactics today, what do you think would happen?
Well, I think it's a very good idea. I think we've got to get it, you know, England have got to get into this French side. Yeah, there's no doubt the French are much stronger up front than the Italians were, but this France side has conceded an average of 3 tries per game. If England score 3 tries today, it's very unlikely they're going to lose the match.
Jerry?
I can't wait. I mean, I'm not even playing and the French have managed to wind me up, so I hope England really gets stuck into it today. I really do.
Listen, you're outnumbered, Serge, 2-1 here, and obviously the spectators are outnumbered 7-1 probably. What chance do you give France this afternoon?
I'm meant to say that it's going to be 50-50 and 51 for France and 49 for England.
I tell you what, any match that finishes 51-49, I think the game would be delighted. Thank you very much to all the guys. There is Chabal, who is going to be such a key figure this afternoon. As Jerry said, if England can stop Jamal around the base of the scrum, you would imagine that that will effectively be one of the real areas of French domination being stopped at source. England waiting in the tunnel at the moment, always these great moments of anticipation and excitement. And the build-up that this game has had, as we said at the start of the programme 3 or 4 hours ago, has been absolutely immense. I mean, absurd in the context of it's just a rugby match. But listen to this noise. As a culmination of the week when all the characteristics of the English and the French nations have been brought into focus by the comments of the French coach Marc Livermore, but that is very much in the past now. We're a couple of minutes or so away from kick-off of the most eagerly anticipated rugby match for an awful long time. And a couple of things we'd like to mention at this moment, actually, because as the teams will head very shortly towards the official lineup, must mention one absentee today, a lifelong Gloucester and England fan. Stan Elliott was taken seriously ill last night. He's with us in hospital this afternoon, this early evening. All his family rooting for him and England today, so do get well, Stan. And as two very, very proud rugby nations prepare to face each other, our thoughts are going to turn very shortly to probably the most famous rugby country of them all, stunned this week by the earthquake that rocked Christchurch and claimed so many lives. There are obviously two New Zealand-born players in the England lineup this afternoon, Shantae Hape and Dylan Hartley. And while Alele Bleu rings round Twickenham from a very, very vociferous travelling band of, I would guess, 10, 12, 15,000 French fans, they really have come in their numbers today. We will have a moment's silence very shortly for the victims of the earthquake in Christchurch and for the people as a whole of New Zealand. And after that moment's silence, our commentary team, as ever, will be Brian Moore and Eddie Butler. But after all the noise and the pyrotechnics, it's time for a moment's reflection.
Which has claimed over 145 lives and left many more unaccounted for in a city that has rugby at the very heart of the community. As a mark of respect for those who've lost their lives and an expression of deepest sympathies and solidarity from the global rugby family to the people of Christchurch, their families and all affected by this tragedy, we invite you now to observe a minute's silence.
Good afternoon, welcome to Twickenham. Full volume restored after the minute silence in respect of the victims of the New Zealand earthquake.
And now please remain standing for the England national anthem, performed once again by the Royal Hospital School Band and led by the Capital Children's Choir.
It's the hottest ticket of this RBS Six Nations. It could be the hottest ticket of the rugby year, with a likely meeting in the World Cup in New Zealand later on. It is simply France at Twickenham against England. Both teams unbeaten. The heat of the occasion, but it's been a stinker of a day here so far. The two teams. Andrew Sheridan is back after injury. Otherwise, it's the pack that has passed every test set in the first two rounds. Behind the England scrum, nothing has changed at all. Chris Ashton has scored as many tries in 2 games on his own as the whole England team managed in 5 games last year. That's 6 tries. Here we go, confirmation of the lineups. Perhaps Tom Palmer in the England second row has been the pick of the bunch, coming from almost anonymity to be one of the stars of the Six Nations. So much has been said about Chris Ashton on the wing, but the influence of Ben Youngs and Toby Flood at halfback has been beyond debate. France, well, this French front row has never lost when playing together in the Six Nations, and just last year Thomas Domingo in particular gave Dan Cole a rough time. No Maxime Médard, France's most dangerous runner, but Dimitri Yashvili knows what it's like to kick France to victory at Twickenham. Johnny Wilkinson on the bench, just 2 points behind Dan Carter as the leading scorer in international rugby of all time. Good afternoon, Brian. A quick word.
The French scrum against the English line-out.
George Clancy of Ireland is today's referee. It's round 3 of the Six Nations. It's France against England. Tom Woods.
Inside.
Another of the finds in the England side. Tom Wood on the blind side flank.
Start moving.
Safely delivers to Toby Flood. Dimitri Yashvili will counter. The first touch for Vincent Clerc.
Leaving that one.
François Trinduc, the outside half. Yannick Josian in the centre, one of the lighthouses in the French centre. Here's the other one, Aurélien Rougerie. William Servat, a little powerhouse at hooker. France have dropped deep. For Yashvili to test Ben Foden. Foden passes the test and then puts in something extra.
Well, France confident with ball in hand, but that was some reply from Ben Foden. Crucial on a wet day to feel those, and then the presence of mind to make a lot of ground.
Ben Foden, one of the dangerous back 3 that England will want to bring into play as much as possible. Meanwhile, up front, the French line-out. William Servat will throw.
And they've cut the line out here. And that's why they were I knew the English line out potentially was stronger.
England on the attack. Toby Flood. Shantaine Happy. Toby Ben Youngs looking for the offload, finds captain Mike Tyndall. Numbers for England. Flood goes the other way, loose pass. Andrew Sheridan goes down.
Harry Nordique did well there for France coming up, stopping a potential 3-on-2.
England have retrieved the situation. James Haskell on the charge. Mark Cueto will have to go play scrum half. He knocks on. France is put into the first scrummage of the game.
Well, a bright start from both teams, actually. Bearing in mind that the ball is very slippery, and you obviously can't see this at home, but it's very wet there. Harry Nordique again, important for France. And actually, when you saw him step in there, had England been able to get away, he blocked off that opportunity for England to go left, and he anticipated well.
And it was a clash of heads there. Harry Nordique bounced off and is still receiving treatment. Marc Lièvremont in the middle. France's coach has had a few interesting sound bites this week. Don't start, Brian. It's too early.
Sign of insecurity.
Long pause.
Now let's see what happens here, because England, I thought, would have a potentially better line-out. France potentially have the edge in the scrums with their smaller, more compact front row. And let's see whether or not England can get decent ball, or whether the French can put them under the sort of pressure that they put other teams under.
Interesting that Harry Nordique wears 7, but on this side at wing forward is Thierry Dussautoir, playing very much in the open side position, the harrying position. Good England scrum, and the penalty is their reward.
Well, that's a significant statement by England. Forget all the pushing and shoving. The manly stuff, the rugby stuff was done in the scrum when England shunted the French 2 or 3 yards there on their own ball. I'm not surprised Mass is unhappy, because he's been the one that's gone backwards.
I need captain.
Nicolas Maas, the prop of Perpignan.
Watch here.
There's a lot of tension here
The
today,
shove
but you must understand
timed
that this
well,
is not
and they've gone
acceptable.
down.
Now have a word with your
And you
team,
can
because
tell
if it
there
happens
which
again,
one went
your
down,
players
because
won't be leaving the field. I'll give you time now. Let's do it.
the French number 1, Domingo, was in a comfortable position. You don't drop a scrum right straight onto your chest.
Yeah, it's a shot. Your players understand. Your players understand. Shot of goals. Just move it over here a bit,
There's
please.
captain Mike Tyndall.
Yeah.
Huge statement by England at the first scrummage. And here's Toby Flood. Johnny Wilkinson, his moment will come. Meanwhile, his protege, Toby Flood, goes for the first points. He simply cannot miss.
Well, that's important for England, not just because it establishes a lead, but when you're a forward and you do good work like that and you win the penalty, you want your player, your kicker, to reward it. If your kicker doesn't do that, then the heads go slightly down and you feel it's wasted.
François Trinduc restarts. Lewis Deacon waits, is tackled by Vincent Clerc, who didn't make much of an impression on the big England second row. England, in games until now, have been happy to run from deep inside their 22. France have put an awful lot of pressure. They've worked on that. They knew England were going to try to run, and they've earned themselves a penalty.
Well, that was good French tackling. They were up quickly, but tactically from England, having just got 3 points, goodness knows why they chose to move that ball. They'd taken the restart well. It's slippery. They need to get back down the field. The opportunity for the French, and Lièvremont be really happy about that.
And the man sitting directly in front of Marc Lièvremont, the Englishman in the French camp, Dave Ellis. There he is with the white shirt on.
And whilst it was a, well, strange if not idiotic play from England, you've got to give credit to the French defence, because they were up quickly and they hit hard and drove backwards.
Dimitriashvili puts France on the board. We're all square at Twickenham. I'm just thinking, Brian, it was when England were running out their 22 in earlier games, Mark Cueto was very much involved. He wasn't there.
Yeah, well, the thing was, he came off his wing though, didn't he? And the different thing, the ball was just shipped along there. So many times you see sides going to get a score and then just give one away.
Great catch by Imanol Arinodaki.
That's a significant area for both teams. Both teams have done that well. Restarts.
Stop 1 and 3.
The big left boot of the centre they call Horse, Rougerie. And good running out of his own half by Ben Foden. France have stolen it though, and Yashvili knows there isn't a full-back at home for the moment.
Okay.
Mark Cueto covers, Ben Young's inside him. And France settle for the line-out.
Well, that's a good kick from a tight angle, but even, well, not even better, but different work. Aurélien Rougerie
Captain,
getting in there.
Captain, this is important. Even though the ball goes into touch, you still can't move forward.
There we are. Tremendous work.
England, England.
Rougerie.
I need a bigger gap.
Now then, the French line-out struggled initially on a short one. Will they do any better on a full line-out? Because this is an area where, although Chabal...
Line it over, gone in 15.
France safely delivered. Here's Yannick Josian linking well with Rougerie. France keep it going to the far side. Johan Huget on the wing. And happy to give it width coming the other way too. Vincent Clerc.
Away tacklers.
Lionel Nallet, the second row. Trinduc. Oof. Josian rode the tackle.
Release him 10.
Of Tom Palmer. Julien Pierre, the other second row. James Haskell makes the tackle. Trinduc. Tackled by Nick Easter. It sort of stopped France in their tracks a bit. Arinodaki feeds on to Clerc. And England drag him over the touchline. It'll be a scrum down. Ball's gone forward. Andy Nicol.
Well, I've been really impressed with Ben Young so far in the Six Nations. I've been looking him close. The second time he gets the ball, we can see what he does here. What I like in scrum halves is to attack the fringes so that the fringe defence knows that all day he's got to go. But what he does now, he offloads to Mike Tyndall. So what does that allow? It allows Ben Youngs to get back to his feet to make sure he's controlling the next phase, and he can use his skills as a passer to get it away. Good start by Ben Youngs.
And in addition to that, Andy, what you highlighted there, if you can see where Mike Tyndall laid the ball back, really important in terms of getting quick ball. When players keep the ball close to the body, often can be stolen, but when you push the ball back like that, it makes it a lot quicker, a lot easier.
Martin Johnson just checking up on who's injured down there. Tom Palmer was receiving attention.
Well, let's see what the French can do to the English put-in the scrum.
Crouch. Touch. Pause. Engage. Stop.
France have got the early nudge on. And England have a secondary counter turning drive.
Move it in here.
Well, the referee, George Clancy,
That's what I'm saying.
doing it right, making sure that the scrum is steady before the ball is introduced.
We must get it up in his back.
Yashvili is shouting, get it in, but the ball shouldn't come in until the scrummage is square and stable.
Crouch. Touch. Pause. Engage. Stop. You're binding under
This time it's a binding issue.
And a second good decision in the scrum by George Clancy. Again, quite clear, the law, bind on the shirt and the body of your opposite number, not on the arm. And the reason for that people do not realise, is that the advantage you get by binding on the arm is huge, because the levers and mechanics mean that you can twist your opponent illegally under, and that's the reason why you want a fair contest.
England quite happy to control the pace of these set pieces.
Form the line out, White.
They've trimmed the line-outs. Dan Cole, Tom Palmer, Lewis Deacon, Tom Wood, and at the back Andrew Sheridan. Palmer delivers to Youngs. Nick Easter. Du Sautoir with the tackle.
Advantage offside.
Youngs again, advantage to England rather, offside. The early call by George Clancy.
Well, James Haskell is fulfilling the role that Aaron Odiki does for France in taking the ball up, and that's ill-disciplined by France, because there was no imminent England threat. All they needed to do, France, was count the numbers. No need to stray offside. To be honest, I'm not sure who was offside there, actually. I'm sure that they've singled out Josion, but
yeah,
it was marginal.
And the wheels of the machine carry on turning. Toby Flood, 6 points, France 3.
Well, if it wasn't clear before the game, it is clear now to both sides that the opposition kickers are accurate and will punish things, and that needless penalties may be very expensive in the end.
And what will England do? Safe catch for Lewis Deacon again.
Well, Flood's gone further back this time. I don't think this is going to go along the line. May well be box kick from here.
It is by Ben Youngs.
Well, Ben Youngs, they'll be disappointed that that ball didn't go higher and further and give the runners an opportunity to contest it. Nevertheless, it's safe off the field, I suppose.
Better than the penalty in front of your posts.
Considerably.
William Servat.
Keep that gap, White.
Toulouse hookup. He's one of the bastions of this French team.
Well, interesting, Dylan Hartley's gone right to the tail of the England line, out to a lifter, and Ben Youngs is in the middle.
Lionel Nallet won ball. France tried to set up the driving more, but England are in control of that until Servat comes away. And it takes James Haskell and Toby Flood to bring him down. Loose ball. Oh, Chabal, one of those horrible passes. He gave one at the end of the France-Ireland game, or the Ireland-France game, that nearly handed Ireland the game. England have turned it over, all because of the Chabal moment. Clément Poitrenaud, France's fullback. Plenty of blue shirts back there. That's very calmly done by France. Chabal put them in trouble. The three-quarters got them out of trouble.
Well, there's a wrong decision by England to run that. To kick that. The fact is, usually you have a rule of a turnover play. You want to pass the ball twice, and if you need to kick, then fine. But there was a chance to run that, and it should have been kept in hand. Look, there's four against three. Turnover ball, always easy to run because the opposition are not in defensive mode, and that was a case wasted.
Up goes Tom Palmer again. Out it comes through Ben Foden all the way to Mark Cueto. Mike Tyndall goes in.
Right through the middle. That was a maul. He's not obliged to leave it go.
And France have counter-rucked hard and well so far. Flood. England rebuild through James Haskell. Offload there to Dan Cole.
Roll tackle.
England have an advantage in numbers if they can straighten here.
Tom Wood. Dylan Hartley. Outside him is Lewis Deacon. Hartley again. Ben Youngs. England want to give this width. Wood drives it up first. Mike Tyndall. Foden took it. It was a cut-out pass that nearly cut out the fullback.
Well, he had to jump, didn't he? And that stopped all his forward momentum.
Here he is. Chris Ashton. Nick Easter.
Leave it 12, good. Advantage offside again, 8 this time.
That's another offside advantage being played.
Thank you.
I don't know if England have heard that, because if they have, these were a chance.
Well, I've heard it now.
Offside, number 8. Number 8, offside.
Number 8, Sébastien Chabal. He's not having a good 5 minutes,
Number 8,
Sebas.
offside.
Well, that one was different. On Ben.
Kicking tee is on.
Yeah, as soon,
The kicking tee was on.
You can
So
hear the
you must shoot a
explanation there
goal.
from the referee. As soon as the kicking tee comes on, the ball is dead in effect. You can't take a tap. But that penalty was one that was won by England as opposed to given away by France, like the first one was, because
It's as if
France
the ball
were.
landed in the field of play.
Okay, even when it goes out.
Correct.
Yeah, because it was England that put the pressure on, and in the circumstances, in the conditions, very good handling by both backs and forwards there.
No problem for Toby Flood. 3 penalties. 9-3, England lead.
And on the balance of play, I'd say that's about fair.
Shorter restart. Arino the key, challenge Tom Wood, and away comes Thierry Dussautoir.
Good anticipation there, wasn't it, from Dussautoir?
Tanduc straightens the line. The direct route. Chabal. Tackled by Nick Easter and by Dan Cole. Oh, penalty, that could be yellow. Hand on the floor till straight in front of the referee.
Number 8, playing the ball on the ground, number 8.
The only reason I think that he may not have considered giving a yellow card there was because England had driven them backwards and there wasn't a French supporting player there. Didn't need to do that, had done the hard work already.
Nick Easter just couldn't resist. Made the tackle. Dipped the hand in afterwards.
Chabal put backwards there. The thing is, if he'd left that alone, Cole would probably be able to pick that up. A 50-50 for a yellow there.
Yashvili keeps France in striking distance. They trail by just 3 points. England have had the run of the play, have controlled the run of the game, but France are within 3.
But let's not forget that that was created by a superb bit of anticipation by the French captain, Thierry Dussautoir.
2 restarts, or 3 restarts, and from 2 of them, France have had penalties. Yashvili, left-footed, his natural foot. Claire got a hand to it. Josian plays football, but it was forward off the hand of Vincent Claire.
Now, I'd like to see this again because I don't know whether Ashton was balked in the act of catching or whether he was just getting in the way and therefore, well...
Well, I think if Claire makes contact with the ball...
If he does, yeah. Yes, he does. Perfectly fair. Perfectly fair. And actually, if that had knocked backwards, there was a big hole behind Ashton as well.
France, better scrummage. They've turned one over, and Chabal. Oh, well, he knocked it on, but France have earned themselves a penalty. Better set piece by the visitors.
As you heard there from referee George Clancy, 1 against the head. And you know, Eddie, when the referees make them bite properly, when they don't know how to push the ball before the ball comes in, and they let them put the ball in straight, that's what you get. You get a hooking contest, both hookers actually striking, much more of a contest.
I agree, yeah.
And a significant win for William Salvat.
Okay, you can go.
Here's Mike Tindall, the England captain, but up front, after the penalty given against Nick Easter, as you said, Brian, Dan Cole was hovering around the ball. He had a bit to say to the French front row. There's a real battle within the battle going on between the front rows.
And I know it doesn't interest anyone else, but true aficionados of rugby know that battle is the heart and soul of rugby.
It's a long kick for Yashvili, and there's the distraction of Andrew Sheridan receiving treatment in front of him. Hasn't put him off at all. All square at Twickenham.
Well, another clear signal for England that anywhere within 45 yards is prime opportunity for...
The bad news for England is it looks very much as if Andrew Sheridan is going to come off. They're playing on without him. He's hobbling.
He's off.
Again, the easier catch for Arinaldo Key, but he's made it, and he's also made a few meters. And yet, meanwhile, Sheridan is going. Ben Foden. The tackle by Dussautoir. How many of those does he make in a match? Arinaldo Key from the back row makes another. Flood. That could be very good. Dylan Hartley picks up the scraps. It was good for England. The switch by Youngs.
That should have gone. That should have gone.
Haskell has taken it on, and they've turned it over now. So promising for England, and they and Haskell, in acknowledgement, holds up a hand. Here we have, it's the south side, Andrew Sheridan, whose career has been blighted by injury. Hugely strong, but ever prone to things going wrong. Has given way to Alex Corbiziero, who comes on after making a very fine debut in the last game against Italy.
Pause, engage. Break it up. You've both gone down too early, both of you. I need a long pause.
Well, the good thing from England's point of view is that
the engage is good.
Corbiziero had at least one game before coming into what would have been a baptism of fire against a very good French front row. So he's that test experience at least behind him.
Pause, engage. Stop.
That's a good French scrum.
Out.
Oh, Chaval doesn't make life easy for Yashvili, who doesn't make life easy for Poitrenaud. And Huget says, oh, I can't bear any more of this. Let's get going forward.
Well, he couldn't do much else, could he?
Good tackle. Good tackle by Huget following up.
Hands, Rock.
Lewis Deacon.
Rock.
Youngs. Oh, hesitation by England. It's
second was not a knock-on. It's still advantage.
No knock-on. Oh, there is a knock-on. Knock-on advantage being played as Vincent Clair sees forwards in front of him and sets off around them. Poitrenaud and Huget had cut inside.
I do not know why he passed that ball, because he'd outpaced Cole. If he'd gone straight, he'd have drawn the fullback with two men outside him. Watch here. There, the other two England players had drifted. Could attack the inside shoulder. He was away.
Nice big gap.
It is the modern way to pass without looking. Yashvili dummies. Chaval heads off on a charge slightly on his own, but it's quickly delivered for Tinduc, Josian, Rougerie, Poitrenaud. Rougerie again. William Salvat to Vincent Clair, tight against the touchline. Forwards arrive. Yashvili delivers to Julien Pierre. He's on his own. It is there for Yashvili. Rougerie plays scrum half. Tanduc, Josian, little Thomas Domingo, the prop, batters Toby Flood out of the way. Josian at scrum half. Tanduc, Chabal.
Release, run away!
Yashvili.
Knock back by White.
Advantage to England. Knocked out of Dimitri Yashvili's hands. Respite for England.
Well, what a great passage of play. The French threatening to break through and England creaking but not giving. A tremendous ball in hand run from Thomas Domingo of all people. Look at this.
Time off for a moment, proper. I see the number 6 takes you, hit you.
Some truths are eternal in the game.
Yeah, you don't go high on a prop. You're not going to win that battle.
All right, okay.
Great shot.
I think it's been a really good game so far.
Andy, anything developed?
It is a really tight game, isn't it? There's just so much intensity out there. And so England had a bit of a chance with Dylan Hartley down here. And I thought Tranduc was pulled in too easily. And you'd have thought he would have got that. But if we look at it tight, we go in tight. Watch Tom Wood's right leg there, just catches Tranduc there. And he's pulled out of position, wasn't able to make the tackle. But England couldn't get it, couldn't get a try.
Back live, England feed a scrummage which is turned, whipped round. Nick Easter does very well under pressure. That was excellent work by the England number 8.
Well, the foreman of
Clément Poitrenaud spoils France's opportunity to counter-attack. Simple drop by the fullback, so there's a contrasted skills for you. Easter under pressure, Poitrenaud under practically none.
Well, you know, any player can make a mistake, and let's be fair. Oh, he took his eye off the ball. Look at that. Took his eye off the ball at the crucial time. That's superb work under pressure. You know, former international number 8, Eddie, never easy when you're wheeling round like that, is it? Second rows, big clumsy club off of feet, trying to get hold of your fingers.
Needs to be just a little straighter for me. Just a little straighter for me. Crouch!
France have definitely had a little edge at the past couple of scrums. And again, they get the nudge on, and they've done one. England again against the head. That was a rebound off the knee.
You know why?
He just went away there.
Tell me, Brian, tell me.
Because the scrum is being kept low by the French because they're shorter. When the ball comes in, Dylan Hartley didn't get his foot out, that is knee. There. Got to get all your weight on your non-striking foot and sweep the ball. And the thing is, when they make them do it properly, a lot of modern hookers are not used to doing that. They're used to walking over the ball.
Keep an eye on this, please, Alan.
Good scrummaging by the French front row.
Just waiting for 7 here.
Sonia.
Well, Andrew Sheridan came off muttering to himself. Remember, he was only just back after missing the game against Italy. He's off to the medical room with a calf problem. It means Alex Corbicero comes on, having had animated instructions from scrum coach Graham Roundtree.
Touch! Pause! Engage!
This is the battle between Domingo and Dan Cole. That's steady enough for England. Flood just paused.
Depends on the bounce here.
Oh, and Poitrenaud does let it bounce, and Chris Ashton did very well. And Poitrenaud in trouble. Oh, and France have the penalty. England again dipping a hand into the ruck.
George Clancy's been consistent. Players, no, you don't. It's a ruck. You do not put your hands in there.
I only paused, Brian, because you had to collect yourself for a second then.
Well, so look.
Before that, I think. Just before that.
Yeah, it was before then.
Oh, that's a very good kick. Very good kick.
It is, and what you've got from a French point of view, you've got the line-out throw as well. If England had just let France win that and put pressure on legally, then at least when it was kicked off, they'd have had the throw.
All square, at Twickenham in a half hour that is, well, I think it's flown by. It's been riveting.
What is difficult to appreciate if you're not watching this live is just how big some of these collisions have been.
I know the key delivers safely. Tanduk, little go and show. Ben Youngs made an important tackle then. And the support from the prop, Nicolas Mas. Selvat does not make the safe catch. Turnover ball for England. Surely they must run it. Flood. Tom Palmer. Dylan Hartley.
Roll away, tacklers.
Well, you've got to give that to Wood, I think, as a quicker man on the outside.
Vincent Clair, not offside. Tackles Ben Youngs.
Stay here.
Young's doing well to keep that available under pressure.
Oh, that's forward. There's a scrappiness to England's play today, Brad. Do you think are they trying to play too much rugby without getting the game won up front first?
Well, certainly there, because they had no momentum. And the other thing is here, look, Easter's got a run-up, even if it was, which it wasn't straight, you know, not passed backwards. The fact is that off a run-up of 2 or 3 metres, you can't get enough momentum. Got to come from much deeper if you're going to hit there. Much better to use as a decoy, play the ball wide and behind.
Forum after today's game. Use the red button, and tomorrow more live action from the Six Nations. Scotland versus Ireland tomorrow from 2:30.
Pause, engage.
The front rows have gone up. France steal a little march.
We'll have it again.
The French crowd have taken over at Twickenham.
No, you must, both of you, straight. Crouch. Touch. Pause. Engage. France down too early.
Oh, France down too early.
Leave the ball. Just leave the ball.
Quickly taken by Ben Youngs. Flood. Poor pass. England.
Well,
again, the scrappiness showing through.
They've had 5 or 6 minutes, England, where they've been terribly imprecise. The passes have not gone in front of the men. Oh dear. More composure is needed from England.
You got him?
There you are, that's how close it is, and it really has been like that. Territorially, of course, France have been on the ascendancy, but
Think catch.
Ali know the key.
Stay.
Wins
okay, line it over.
in the middle, but England have done well to spoil it. To such an extent that Ben Youngs comes away with it. Haskell to Mark Cueto. Flood. Safe delivery this time to Mike Tyndall. And again, imprecision. Aurélien Rougerie has gone down injured. We can pause, Brian.
Power pass scrum here, white ball, or blue ball.
you can see the contrast there. England running in close, short channels with not a lot of width. Eventually get pushed out into touch. Conversely, when France are working these channels, the inside shoulders are being attacked, and well, Ashton's overrun that.
They did. It was a very tight little 3-on-1 there.
Yeah, but all the more reason why the ball carriers have got to step even further inwards. The inside shoulder has got to be. You drifted all there. What Chris Ashton is doing there, I have no idea as a winger. He's miles in front.
Well, he's not used to receiving the ball on the wing. You know, he comes off his wing so well. Just not used to it.
No, you're kind of falling forward. Rock solid. Mark is over here. It must be better.
Aurélien Rougerie has retaken his position in the centre. France again will have the put-in at the scrimmage.
I think he's been the pick of the French backs, Rougerie. I think he's done some very good work.
All
attacking defence, actually. Yeah.
Steady.
Interesting that Graham Roundtree's the scrummage coach went on there as a water carrier.
Now bring it closer.
Now let's see if George Clancy goes the whole hog and makes them put it in straight.
Crouch. touch, pause, engage.
No, badly fed. Shocking.
Not straight, not straight.
I beg your pardon, Brian.
Touch, George.
I take my hat to you, George Clancy. Well refereed, well refereed.
And there's no need either. France looking comfortable, and they're down to 14 at the moment. Vincent Clair has boot trouble. They're back up to 15. Claire needs to fill that hole. Youngs goes the other way. Happy. Mike Tyndall. Another floated pass. It does get to Cueto, but it didn't do the winger many favours.
Well, when he has to take off to catch it.
Dan Cole, he has to
roll away,
hesitate in order
hands
to
out.
take the pass.
Through the middle, that's fine. Through the middle.
Julien Pierre, or rather Lionel Nallet stole that, and France can counter. The kick by Tanduc Vincent Clair. He's going to do Lewis Deacon for speed. Ben Foden is there for England. Claire lets him get back up, but England are pinned in their corner.
That's well done by Ben Foden under pressure.
Lionel Nallet stole the ball, and England are here right in their corner. Ben Youngs will take the kicking responsibility on himself. Curls it. Chaval drops it, but it will be a French throw.
Well, a number of times the French have exposed England's lack of numbers at the breakdown. England trying to commit the least number of possible players to win the ball. No problem there, he's come straight through. No problem at all. And England have to get more players in and seal those balls off, because several times they threatened to do that, and that time that they did, and it nearly cost England.
Don't obstruct him.
Clean delivery from France. That's not clean at all. They've caught the imprecision bug.
Take that 7 wide. Roll 6 wide.
William Servat. This is the captain, Thierry Dusautoir, on his own, dragged backwards.
Hands out. Stay here. You.
Yashvili to Yannick Josian. Tanduc up against Nick Easter.
Advantage knock on.
Knock on by France. England will have
the ball
a
should
scrimmage.
go wide.
They have a chance here. Chantain Happy. Again, the passing is poor. And France come away with it. Players go down. I think it's Clément Poitonneau and Johan Huget claim the penalty. George Clancy says what? Nothing. Scrum down.
Well, it goes over to Alan Lewis, his compatriot, Irish referee also.
Or rather, line out.
Get your numbers right.
England still under pressure in a much reduced line-out. Important throw for Dylan Hartley. He's responded to the challenge of line-out throwing, no problem this season. That one comes down to Dan Cole.
Hands out now. Stay you. Captain, stay.
Ben Youngs nudges England forward. France will have the throw-in. Huget thinking about taking it quickly, but this is a good opportunity.
Well, this is the ball knocked down. Well, he might have got something had he not Hollywood in it.
It's Dusautoir with a tackle. We wondered how many he was going to make. The answer is plenty, as he always does.
Well, Alan Lewis, the assistant referee.
Taken, William Servat! And the referee's whistle goes. Hasn't gone 5, has it?
Not 5, I don't think.
Not 5.
Yep.
Free kick in 15. The ball didn't go 5 metres at the front of the line. From here.
Well, it's a great move by France, apart from a yard.
That's a very clever kick downfield by Toby Flood. Huget, oh, it might just beat. Yeah, well played, the French wing. That'll be a 22. The ball was moving, so he could place one foot in the in-goal area and earn France a 22.
Oh, that's very close as well.
A good communication between Alan Lewis, the touch judge, and George Clancy. William Servat, live wire, and yet also a power in the French front row. Marc Cueto. Oof. There's a signal of just how hard the tackling is. Forward pass. Mike Tyndall.
Out of way, 6.
Knock on by Ben Youngs. It's very, very untidy by England.
Here is the line out. Oof. Well, Alan Lewis is right there, and he does spot it. It was marginal. It was about 4.5 meters. But inventive.
Yeah, I was just going to say that France actually could claim to be the more inventive so far.
Well, I think both sides have tried to be positive. The French have been a little better ball in hand because there, look, Caballero nowhere near. It's a good move if it's done properly.
Yashvili was the target. Well, I was going to say jumper, but of course he wasn't jumping. He was just winning it. And in all, the key is down. They certainly won't want to lose him, the French. But he's all right.
Well, time is nearly up for the first half, and it has been like that. It's been it's not been a cagey battle, but it's been very intense and very close.
Dimitri Yashvili feeds more or less straight. Chaval with the pickup, and France have a good attacking platform here through Clément Poitrenaud. Johan Huget does well to stay in field. And France have a penalty. So in a game of obviously tight margins, will France be able to take a narrow lead into half-time?
Well, they may as well kick, mightn't they?
No, back you go. That's the decision now. Back you go.
The old 8-9 move, the long pass, and delivers Poitrenaud into space.
But you see there, Yashvili is running really tight, so he's not allowing the play to be shoved in and further over than necessary. And France, end the half on a positive note.
Just the power of quick ball, isn't
Absolutely.
it? It wasn't held up at all.
Rugby's a simple game. If you get ball going forward and it's quick, get over the gain line, and everything flows from that. You get the penalties, you get more space.
This for the lead. It's all square. The kick by Dimitri Yashvili does not go over. 9 apiece in the big clash of the Six Nations. England 9, France 9.
Well, both sides with a lot to discuss when they take their break. But from a spectator's point of view, it's been an enthralling battle. Flawed at times, undoubtedly. But there have been some tremendously intense play. And it's all poised beautifully for the second half.
The end of half-time, the beginning of the second half of the Six Nations Championship. George Clancy blows, Toby Flood kicks. And the RBS challenge between England and France is underway. Mistake in the French 22. Johan Huget collects his own horror pass, and England will have the advantage. Oh my, whatever was said at half-time seems to have worked for England and not France, Brian.
Well, you've got to give credit to Palmer for chasing what looked like a completely lost cause. Yashvili taking far too long to line that up, because it was dealt with easily by the catcher. And now England a prime opportunity. They won't get many of these.
On comes the French weight England crab across, that's out.
Good control.
Feeds Ben Youngs, and England now within 2 meters. Youngs again.
That should have gone wide.
It's gone into the hands of the front row department. The switch by Toby Flood. Mark Cueto, Ben Foden. Foden! And England have opened the second half with a try. Ben Foden.
Well, from a kick-off which looked quite innocuous. Work by Tom Palmer. They created all that. England taking the chance when it was presented. Powerful running by Foden.
Well, what a start for England. At the start of the second half, the switch of play. Toby Flood called the switch, held the pass.
See them tracking there.
A little bit of luck with the juggled pass.
Absolutely. But you had to be in the right position to take the ball when it came. Had he not worked as hard, that would have died where it was.
Well, he's missed one at last. Toby Flood cannot add the 2 points, but England have taken the lead at Twickenham. Ben Foden, the try scorer. This is his finish. The bobble from Mark Cueto, but Foden with the strength to go through the tackle. 14 points to 9.
Still got a way to go there. Finished well.
Raising the ball.
Tom Wood cannot take the restart, but the ball went backwards.
Play it. The ball was out.
Ball was out. Thierry Dusautoir could do all the damage he wanted.
Stop! Stop! Stop!
Chabal is back there with Poitrenaud. Here is Chabal.
Good work by Hartley there.
Excellent counter-wrecking by England. Turnover ball, Haskell. James Haskell makes ground. Youngs. Toby Flood. It's all England in this second half. And Chris Ashton scores.
No, it's not. It's a
Number
forward pass. It's a forward pass.
Forward pass. He sticks on 6.
It was a forward pass. I'm sorry, Martin. It was. No good booing. Lovely running, lovely hands there. Marginal, but it was. But what I have to say about the previous play was the work done by Dylan Hartley.
Crouch.
Simply flew in.
Pause. Engage. Let's go.
France under the cosh in this second half. Survive the scrum put in. Francois Trinduc does more than survive. He breaks out.
Rock.
Yashvili. Rougerie. William Servat on his own on the wing, but that's the strength of Servat. Captain Thierry Dusautoir.
Third man in, he's fine.
François Trinduc Josian. Trinduc, oops. Thomas Domingo didn't want that around his ankles. England have turnover ball and numbers outside. Mark Cueto. Flood to Ben Foden. Harpe. Chris Ashton. Well, DeLewis Deacon, swift hands, back to Flood.
Release him now.
Foden.
Release 15. Good. He was tackled, he's fine. Release tacklers 12, release. Stay here.
Slight pause, but the rhythm of this second half has increased. No end.
Well, England have obviously been told to get more men into the breakdowns.
Tom Wood played scrum half. Mike Tyndall with the little chip through, and we shall stop at last for a line out.
Well, not a bad idea, but it would have been better if it had stayed in play. But England, as I said, have obviously been told to get more men into the breakdowns because in this half they haven't had the problem of the French counter-rucking as they did in the first half. France did very well in that area in the first half and spoiled a lot of England ball. In fact, picked a couple up.
Come forward. Scrum half. It's outside.
Just checking whether this line out is inside or outside the 22. It's just outside. Oh, that's a penalty against England for taking the jumper out in the air. Nobody cares about that.
I don't think it was, Eddie. I think it was dropped, actually. Look at supporting players, didn't hold him.
Yashvili can't go straight for touch.
Harry, back in.
Oh, he...
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going back in, back to where the line-out was. George Clancy said beforehand that line-out was outside the 22.
I told you it's outside.
Well, there, no, look, they just dropped him.
So Tom Wood didn't make any contact with the man in the air?
No.
No?
Yes. Yes, you're right, Eddie, okay. I'm wrong. It was a penalty.
Dylan Hartley with the throw. The line out becomes a bit of a free-for-all, but England come away with the crumbs. Good driving play, as you say, Brian. More England players in there. Dylan Hartley. It's an important tackle by Julien Pierre, the second row. Flood. Tyndall on the straightening of the direction, held up.
Rougerie again doing good work.
Ball squirts out. England come away with it again.
Mind your legs.
Just count those England forwards in there. It means they're a bit short-handed out here in the three-quarter line. Flood switches play, keeps it close to the overworked forwards at the moment, but still works for them. Tom Wood makes ground. Tight to the touchline, brings it in field. Dylan Hartley.
Rock your hand. Stay.
Flood, good pickup. Oh, bounces up sweetly for Nick Easter.
Where is the support?
It's there. Chantin Hape. Poitrenaud went in, and France come away with it, and that will stay in field. And Johan Uge, and a ricochet into touch, and England was stretched then. And Dylan Hartley knows it.
Well, had Hartley not got his foot onto that, a bit like a goalkeeper, Medal had an acre of space in front of him. Good work by Flood off his toes.
Overlap.
Can play this on what? Well, you would have seen if that had gone on
10.
How much room there was for Medal in front.
Scrum half.
Julien Pierre, who was heavily involved in the rearguard action there. France, just 5 in the line now. Imanol Arinol-Deki is one of them. There he is, Arinol-Deki to Yashvili. Ooh, Chabal, tackled by James Haskell.
Well, it wasn't helped by the fact that when he was catching the ball, he was in mid-air.
Uge. Good strength by the winger. This is promising by France. Lionel Nallet in possession, but he is penalised on his own, hanging on off the tackle.
That was really good work by Lewis Deacon in the tackle and getting his body through. Driving look, then getting to his feet.
It's Julien Pierre again who's the ball carrier there. Lewis Deacon.
Number 8. Number 8 and 15 substitutions. 8 and 15.
We enter the zone where the replacements are made. Julien Bonner, Damien Traille. Looks as if Sébastien Chabal is going off. Johnny Wilkinson. It may not be the prescribed hour, but Toby Flood is limping at the moment. And Flood, here he is going off, so Johnny Wilkinson will come on and presumably line up a shot at goal. And this would take him past Dan Carter as the top point scorer in international rugby.
Well, there are those who give Wilkinson no credit for what he has done. But
it's just how Toby Flood got injured.
It's going to be a shot at goal. No, go back a bit. You kick the forward.
Just his ankle, I think, right ankle. Chabal has indeed come off. Well, this is nice, isn't it? Come on, and first kick is a 47-yarder. At a guess.
Here he is, Johnny Wilkinson. Not a bead of sweat on his brow, but this to become the leading try scorer, the leading point scorer of all time in international rugby. It's a sight we've seen on so many occasions. Wilkinson scores for England.
Calm as you like. And if you don't give credit for someone who can do that with his first kick of the game of pressure, it was 48 metres then. That's disrespectful, and I think that England will look now to move the ball quicker, I think. They need to keep the French moving around. Because I feel that if they can drive the ball and get quicker ball, the start they've made, they could capitalise on from here.
Harry the key under the ball.
Wide is in front of the kicker.
England offside, chasing the kick. So once again, England taken advantage on the scoreboard, and France have a chance to reel it back in.
22, but you can also have a scrum from where the ball was kicked. But the penalty is up here. It's only 5 metres in the difference.
Scrimmage rather than the penalty in their own half.
Number 7 in front
of
the kicker.
Was it in their own half, or was it just in England's half? Because Yashvili can kick anything from 50.
Thank you, yeah.
Any news on those injuries or replacements, Sonia?
Well, Toby Flood's been sat on the England bench with his head in his hands. He's having not one but two medics have been treating a right ankle injury, applying ice. And I heard him say to them, look, it's really, really sore. So his game is very obviously over, but perhaps fortunate for him that the championship takes a break for another week.
I think England have done exactly what they shouldn't have done. Having been in the ascendancy and had two scores that they've presented, this man with a relatively easy chance.
Yashvili wraps the post. And Julien Bonner wraps Mike Tyndall. England, though, scramble the ball away. Vincent Clerc sees where Damien Traille is in support. He's right there over him now, but England counter up with those numbers. Yashvili scrapes the ball away. It comes to François Trinduc. France in control. Yannick Josian. Now then, can the French three-quarters get a run at England forwards? Not easily, although now Vincent Clerc does come away.
Roll away 14.
Josian. This is replacement Julien Bonner. The captain, Dussautoir, takes on Johnny Wilkinson.
Away tacklers, release tacklers.
Toulouse against Toulon. Bonaire again. The ferocity of the tackling has not eased at all. Now trouble for France, because that's a huge rebound. Damien Traille goes back. Good anticipation by the replacement.
Rock, no hands!
Oh, England
No hands.
powerful at the counter-rucking. France will have to rebuild from deep.
Take a
Well, it
step
looks
to
like
the right,
they
take a
will
step.
get away with this, but that drop goal attempt, it was never on to do that.
Servat.
Carry back in.
That's going to hit the ground.
Oh.
Advantage, knock on by Blue.
Knock on by Aurélien Rougerie.
Well, England have been lucky there because that ball could have gone anywhere. Can't let the ball bounce. Someone's going to claim it.
Okay. Time off, please.
I mean, Haskell is about a yard
It's a
away.
substitution,
Normally, you're
Blue.
grasping at those. And the thing is, he must have been aware of that pressure. He was never on to do that.
Okay.
No, hits him on the shin.
A feature of this game, and you don't always see this, both sides have been contesting the ball at the breakdowns fiercely in attack and defence, and quite often defences are content to put the minimum number of players in, and as a result there are no room around and the ball is won easily. In this game, every single breakdown is being contested, and contested hard.
Crouch. Touch. Pause. Engage.
Not straight.
Well,
Release the ball, 9.
it squirted in loosely, squirted out loosely. France come away with it. Rougerie. Huget waits for support, takes the tackle. Du Sautoir.
Away, tacklers. Rook.
Huget's there on a little dummy run.
I know.
This is
No.
Servat the
You didn't buy
hooker.
it, did you? Away, tacklers.
Trinduc, a tester in front of the posts. Rougerie beautifully takes it.
Away, tacklers.
That's been a feature of his play in the Six Nations.
No, it's not. Scrum here going forward.
France will have the
Both
put in.
players have possession of the ball. Both you and him have possession of the ball. It's a scrum to the attacking team.
Well, that is a very concise explanation from the referee, who is right. And again, Rougerie playing a significant part. He's had a great game in many, many different areas.
Well, Andy, has the game gone away from France?
Oh, I don't think yet, Eddie. I think there's a lot to play out in this game. But what you want from your captain, as Mike Tyndall for England, is to give the lead. When this penalty hit the post, we've got it here. Look at this. He absolutely gets smashed there. Look at it, he loses the ball, but it didn't go for anything there. What a hit there by Julien Bonaire.
I'll tell you, Andy, the problem for France is there was only Bonaire there. If they'd had a couple more players around there, they might have made more of that. Just look at this today. You know, I can't emphasise how big some of these men are. You've got men who are 18, 19 stone running at each other at full tilt. Cheval, look. Oh.
Keep an eye here, please, Alan. 5 metres. Crouch.
Big point to the game for France. They need to score here, and they've got a great attacking platform with options either side. It's a steady scrum as well.
It's an advancing scrum. Great flick from Arinaud the key. Trinduc, the kick ahead. Is it the right option? It is a knock-on by Aurélien Rougerie. No try.
Of all the players to do it, he's played so well in this half.
It's a scrum foul.
Yeah, well, if you can lip read and speak French, you would have understood how he was upset. Oh. Right, it was a well-placed kick by Trinduc. Drew the English defence. Actually, never in possession, was he? Right over his shoulder.
Even if it's that close. Oh. And it was that close. It's just, if you kick, something has to come of it.
Well, Eddie, I don't think you can ask for more than getting a try-scoring opportunity from a kick. That was one.
Oh, and the chance may have gone. France again engaging too soon.
And France are going to come away with nothing from two huge,
under 5,
hugely advantageous positions on the field. They needed at least 3 points from them. It looks like they're not going to get anything.
They'll have a throw in at the line out because it was only a free kick.
yes.
Yep,
Okay,
he knows.
it's a substitution. Pretty much. Oh, sorry,
France
it's away.
still on the
Hold
attack.
throw.
That's
Hold
the
throw.
England 22. The forum after this game should be a talking point or two. And tonight, Scotland versus Ireland. Change for France. William Servat will just stop because Sylvain Marconnet is coming on for Thomas Domingo, who has had a very good game.
Well, Malconnet won't weaken the French scrum at all. Very powerful in his own right. I get the feeling, Eddie, that France have just tilted slightly and are in the ascendancy at the moment, and if they don't get rewarded for this period of play.
The loop, Tanduk and Josion. Damien Traille, Huget outside him, important tackle that by Marc Cueto. Oh, it's gone loose for France, and Nick Easter does the very sensible thing of putting a hoof to it. France Tanduk tackled by Tom Wood. That is superb follow-up work by the England flanker.
I'll tell you what Easter did well there, as decided to kick the ball instead of trying to drop on it, maybe knocking it on, but he's an intelligent run after that because he stayed in field. He didn't go right for the ball. He let Wood go in field. If you watch here, we can run this on.
Number 8, come on, let's go. Stay here.
England line-out is the upshot.
Stay!
Which works well. Lewis Deacon down to his Leicester club mate Ben Youngs. Here's a chance. Ben Foden. Chris Ashton.
Ashton had run a good cheat line there inside. Couldn't find him though.
Johnny Wilkinson. Alex Corbiziero. Chantin Happy. Nick Easter. Lewis Deacon outside him, so the big forwards filling the wide spaces. Wilkinson, Haskell, Dusautoir with the first tackle. Youngs, Wilkinson again. Tackled by Julien Pierre. That's gone forward, so France's defence worked.
Well, England were rushed into that by the French defence, put them under pressure, having to scrabble for the ball not presented precisely, and Young's floundering to get it up.
So you just go straight and get the bind up.
I just wonder whether did Dan Cole knock that on?
Okay.
Well, the referee says he did, and that's who counts.
Stand up with the substitutions. Wait, time off.
I have to say, I think that referee George Clancy has had an excellent game so far. Referees always make mistakes, far fewer than players actually, but he hasn't made any mistakes about the big decisions. He's done well, he's done very well.
Dimitriashvili comes off, Morgan Parra comes on, and big Jérôme Tillon will come into the second row. Julien Pierre goes off.
Time back on. Listen. Down the middle, listen to him.
8-point margin.
Two scores. We're into the final quarter.
Engage. Gone down the far side, we'll have it again. Break it up.
Same again, please, boys. No earlies. Squeaky clean.
George Clancy coming across to the tight head side to see
down the middle
what is going on.
Crouch.
Well, he needs to watch the bind.
Touch. Pause. Engage.
Forward pass.
Well, that is poor from France, right in the heart of their territory, to commit a mistake like that and turn the ball over as a result.
The last time as
Well, I'd like to see a different angle to that. It didn't look forward from this angle, but then not the right angle to see it from. However, what the result is an attacking platform for England again, with all the options.
Crouch.
It's a
Touch.
great place to be if you get quick ball.
Back it up. Back it up. It's a big scrum. Let's get it right. It's a big scrum.
Nicolas Mas slow to stand up.
Well, England need to treat this with as much care as they can, because with this, with a score here, they could kill the game off.
Wait for engage. Here we go. Bring it out here.
And look at the options left and right. Acres of space. And an extra man on the right.
Yeah, I'm happy there.
The right, as you look at it, that is.
Crouch. Touch. Pause. Engage. Stop.
England come away with it. Ben Janssen. Ball's gone forward. Advantage to France. Arinal de Key. Yannick Josian comes away with it. Vincent Clerc puts a big boot downfield. Johnny Wilkinson covers. Mike Tyndall. Tyndall. It was Morgan Parra with the tackle, but England still in control. Wilkinson, who began the counter-attack. Alex Corbiziero, the prop who's on for Andrew Sheridan. Ben Foden, Tranduc, good left-footed control by Tranduc.
Well, Tranduc was unlucky there because the ball just came slightly behind him. He couldn't get a full kick on it. He couldn't get it down the field.
Yeah.
Well, good work by Tyndall here. Just for a split second, it looked as though he might have been able to pass the ball out of the tackle.
Time off.
But again, you see the French committing themselves, the backs getting up and getting into the breakdown.
Ben Youngs, his day is done. On comes Danny Kerr, who came on against Italy and scored. New halfbacks for England. Looks as if
time back on.
Toby Flood is injured.
Yeah. Here's the centre. The centre. No. You. Yes.
Haven't seen either team catch and drive a ball from the line out yet. Will be the right time for England to do that.
Not if it bounces down like that. Well cleared up by Dylan Hartley. Kerr. Easter. Wilkinson puts a little tester up.
Man in front.
For Damien Traille, who takes it easily enough.
Too far.
Here.
15 minutes less to go.
But from an England point of view, Eddie, although that was a poor kick and it was too far, it's going to result in their line out.
England play on. Johnny Wilkinson. A few eyes on our poor cameraman down there.
Roll away, tackle.
François Tranduc, Johan Huget.
Roll away, White. Stay. Hands out, three now, hands out. Stay here.
Lionel Nallet has to do a bit of bridging. But France
Men over here.
Josian, Julien Bonner drops the ball.
4-on-2. There's a 4 players to 2 there, and the French unusually couldn't exploit the overlap. That sort of thing, he stopped the momentum cold. Oh, take his eye off the ball again.
Time off.
This is the moment.
Whoa.
What colour? What number?
So what it looks like to go down at Twickenham.
Come on, get up.
You okay there with this footing? Want to move out?
It's up to you, Sonia. Meanwhile, changes for England and hooker. Dylan Hartley comes off. Now, Brian, how many caps did you earn?
I got 64, and this man today gets 64. Steve Thompson becomes one of the most capped hookers in English history. What a great man. A great man. Congratulations, Steve Thompson. Thoroughly deserved. Great servant. Come on and play your part.
Touch.
And Danny Kerr has to roll it somewhere under his feet. Not very close to his feet. Oh, and England get the penalty.
Nicolas Mas is nonplussed by that.
Is your mark? Yeah.
The thing is, as a tight end, once you see the referee standing on your side of the scrum, you've got to be extra careful.
England are back down, where it is so much easier to control the last 12.5 minutes.
You got to keep the bind up and head and shoulders. Shoulders, the whole front row. You got the front
And Steve Thompson prepares his first throw.
You can see that England have had more territory this half, and all they need to do is to keep the ball down there.
Lewis Deacon wins. Tom Wood helps him. Thompson goes digging for it.
That was absolutely cack-handed attempt to drive that.
Do I take it you haven't been that impressed with these collective drives?
Well, they've only tried one, and that was it. And oh, it was desperate.
France go back or go up to halfway. Is there anything left in the French tank?
Well, the French need to score next. If England score next, it's all over. And time, what, 12 minutes, 11 minutes. The problem for France is they've found themselves in their own territory for large periods of this half, and they've not been able to get out of there.
Won by Lionel Nallet. Julien Bonnet managed to hang on to that. He did very well, in fact, the replacement back row forward. Arinaud the key. Rougerie, the strength of Rougerie, the support as well. This is better momentum for France. They keep going tight against this touchline. Nicolas Mas, who looks disgruntled but still takes it up. Silvat, tackled by Haskell. Well tackled by Haskell. Parra feeds Damien Traille, who spins away from Tom Wood. Alexis Palisson, who's come on as a replacement for François Trinduc.
Hands out, Rock!
Thierry Dussautoir, he'll run to the very end.
Hands out, Scrap!
No hands, Scotty, no hands!
Jérôme Tillon. Damien Traille, knock on by England. Not spotted by anybody. Chantain Happe. Nick Easter. Ben Foden, tackled by Tillon.
Third man in is fine. Don't go in there, Blue.
England protect the ball well. Johnny Wilkinson, here he comes. Chris Ashton, can he finish?
Wrong way, one inside him.
Yoann Huget got a hand to it. Ashton tried to feed Mark Cueto.
Well, that was a trademark tracking run from Ashton. Great support lines here. There again. What he needed was to look right there, not left. Danny Kerr
Number 4
on his
guys.
shoulder right and the better
Number 4
option.
substitution.
Try goes begging. And all his good work in getting that support line is undone by the left pass option instead of looking right for Danny Kerr.
Lewis Deacon is coming off and Simon Shaw comes on. Dan Cole is receiving attention.
Well, Lewis Deacon has had a good game. He's grafted very hard.
Alan, will you take the front, please?
The bumble by Mark Cueto, the finish by Ben Foden. The try of the game, the only try of the game.
Having said that, Eddie, you know, a one-try game you would normally say might have been dull. This has been anything but dull.
You're right. Steve Thompson to throw. Simon Shaw.
After line of touch.
James Haskell crabs infield, makes a little bit of ground.
Come on, let's go.
It was important, Haskell there, though. Made 2 yards from a standing start.
And it, as did Easter, looped by Danny Kerr. Johnny Wilkinson. This is Mike Tyndall. And again, action in front of the ball by England. France break out immediately. This is Alexis Palisson. Wilkinson is back. Johan Uge tries to close him down. Wilkinson goes past 2, can't get past Uge. But England safely.
Well, the French and England, they're all over the place, the players.
And away 5 blue.
And away, it's Nick Easter making ground in those central positions. Kerr. There are numbers outside Wilkinson. It's Simon Shaw. He won't like that.
That's a bad option. Johnny Wilkinson has got to put this ball into French territory and calm the game down, because at the moment it's terribly ill-disciplined and...
Okay.
But it's okay now.
Okay.
It stopped. Easter.
Release 17. Back.
Mike Tyndall. Simon Shaw. Keen, no doubt, to make a mark.
His hands run is fine.
This is Tom Palmer coming away.
Yeah. Went back, Leon, went back.
It bumbles towards Tom Wood.
Rook.
No knock on.
Danny Kerr's looking for a box kick here. No, he's decided not to now. Called.
Stay 2. Stop it in, stop.
Damien Tai catches under no pressure at all. And you know the key. France have numbers out there. Johnny Wilkinson made an important tackle, but Vincent Clerc is still in space on the wide outside.
Not tackled.
This is Julien Bonner feeding Para. This is Jérôme Tillon, the second row. Lionel Nallet, perhaps you're not going to get much from the second rows. Yannick Jauzion may make things happen. Thierry Dussautoir.
Stay here.
Palisson. Tillon again. Para. Jauzion. Good offload to Servat. Dussautoir.
Ball was out.
Ball was out. England not offside. Turnover ball. Wilkinson.
Stop.
Well, how significant might that turnover ball from Shaw be?
Alexis Palisson gets away from Mike Tyndall.
Tackle.
Happy with a backup tackle. Clerc. Uge. Good tackle again by Tom Palmer. It's all the extra bits that Palmer's offered this season.
Well, you can't fault the French effort, can you?
Josian.
Release 12. Good. Rock!
They're trying manfully to get back.
And there's space out there.
And away tackler.
Perhaps Ty Rougerie went in to add weight to the ruck, and France are penalised.
See again, counter-rucking, man goes in. The French think they've got the ball. Tom Wood fires in.
Marconnet went in from the side.
Well,
number 12, substitution.
I think we've
12.
got
That
the
should be
replay.
it.
Was this a try or not? Wasn't given, but
kicker.
George Clancy saying it was tackled and therefore to release the ball. Is he still held when he's down? I can't see from there because I can't see the back player. But it was 2 or 3 yards away only from George Clancy.
White number 3.
Andy.
White 3, substitution.
Well, Mike Tyndall's having a great game there this afternoon, but a rugby ball is shaped as it is. It can bounce certain ways, it can go for you, it can go against you. Look at these two examples. Rougerie, that ball just goes right. Rougerie can't do it. That's the act of scoring. And then we've got another one here with Tranduc after this charge down here. This ball bounces in the hand. It's another try. It just goes away from him. And on small margins, rugby matches can be won or lost.
Andy, with that kick forward, had it not bounced just slightly, behind, back further, if he'd been able to get a full kick on it, he would have been away because there was no one between him and the England goal line. It just bounced to the wrong way slightly.
Hendrik Fury is on, and Dan Cole has gone off.
Okay, Al. 5 minutes.
Could make it interesting at a scrum time.
It will be interesting at scrum time.
Simon Shaw wins the ball.
Run it over. That's a maul.
Now that is how you do a driving maul, not standing start.
Do you have scrum half? I need to see it.
George Clancy says he needs to see it, so England march it on.
Now at some point I would think Johnny Wilkins would be calling for a drop at goal.
He's not obliged to get out of the way. He's not obliged. No, he's not obliged to. Samoa taken in and not used. Scrum blue ball.
France have a new hooker, number 16 with the white headband, Guillaume Guirado.
It's no push. Yeah. No,
Is there time
okay.
left for France?
Okay.
Perhaps not.
Non-contested.
They have to score twice.
Seconds, uncontested. It's no contest, okay? Let's go.
Uncontested scrums here, which means neither side can push. The ball comes back, and that's because England do not have, or they've used up their number of suitably qualified front row replacements.
Oh, Palisson kicks.
Awful.
Ball away.
Awful at this stage of the game anyway.
Alexis Palisson of Brive, late onto the replacements bench as Clément Poitrenaud came into the starting lineup when Maxime Médard cried off. England in no rush.
Keep the gap.
To take this line out. The seconds are counting down to a successful completion of stage 3 of their Six Nations campaign. Is it going to be a Grand Slam campaign? They're on this home run. 3 on the bounce. Italy seen off. France are going to be beaten narrowly, it would appear. Scotland next. Nick Easter drives on.
Stay on our feet now. Go.
The crowd would suggest that the celebrations have begun here at Twickenham.
Well, France aren't going to score twice now in, a minute and 3/4, especially when they haven't got the ball.
Does help, having it.
No hands. Ball's out.
That's out, and stolen by Sylvain Marconnet. Is there time? Tie long to Rougerie, who holds out a long hand against Mike Tyndall. Damien Traille dummies the kick. Chatillon. Thierry Dusautoir, and it is over the touchline now. There will be time for this line out. England ball.
Well, one catch and drive, and it will be all over. And Martin Johnson's team will be. There is my RBS Six Nations man of the match. Tom Palmer was injured early on, but he's been tremendous in the line out. He's worked so hard in the loose, counter-rucking, tackling. Tremendous performance. Well done.
Has he one last jump left in those weary limbs? He has, one-handed. Not the tidiest line out, but it sets Tom Wood on his way. And this is what Hendra Fury brings to the England game. He really does bring it to the England game.
He's still going.
The man from the Eastern Cape. Now, proud Yorkshireman. That's it. Knock on by England. It doesn't matter. They have won at home. Martin Johnson's England have seen off the grand challenge of France. It wasn't a high-scoring encounter, just the single try by Ben Foden. But England have again been value for their money. Stage 3 of the 5-match campaign ticked off. They march on. England 17, France 9.
Well, France came and they gave it their all, but they met an England defence which, although it buckled at times, managed to stem any real threat apart from the one from Rougerie, and powerful work by Foden was enough to go with good goal kicking, and at the end of the day England just about shaded it and they march forward another step. Teams, you can't always win in style. England toughed it out today.
More.
Well, in the battle between two heavyweights, there was just one knockout punch, and it was Ben Foden's at the start of the second half, and that's the difference. 8 points